Take two, action. Hello everyone and welcome to the Captain's video blog. We are Saturday, April 23rd, 2016. So, unlike yesterday where it was probably among the worst, I could have done, especially when you think that at the end of 2015, I actually filmed a video blog around noon, just so that it could be online by the end of before the end of the year in French time. Yeah. So I mean that's kind of the things when you have a fucked up sleep schedule and you can't sleep much for some fucked up reason, like. I will usually sleep around 4 hours, but then I'm tired, and I don't know why. Today, though, this morning, though, I know why I'm tired. It's because this night, unlike other nights where I was kind of like, well, I'm gonna let myself fall asleep, I deliberately tired myself because I was watching an episode of a series, and because I fell asleep, I missed half an hour out of the 47 minutes. You kind of can get the gist of why I couldn't just I'm gonna let nature go its way. No, that doesn't go like that. So yeah, I mean, segmented sleep was a thing in the olden times. That's why there are streetlights, because you slept for a bit when the sun was setting, and then you kind of had your evening life, and then you just did your night. Except what I do is sleeping. Doing 3 cycles of like 4 hours each, so that's not really a viable solution. Yeah. So because of everything like that, I fell asleep around 1 p.m. yesterday and went until 5 p.m. And I'm kind of glad that my parents had gone to run some errands during the afternoon, because I mean if they had been there and if they had seen me wake up at 5 p.m. they probably would have been pissed, and with some reason to it, so the only thing I really watched yesterday was football. Like there's Toulouse who are fighting and they are doing their darndest to stay in the top flight, and really you can wonder why didn't they change their coach earlier, because with that coach they wouldn't be 19th, they probably wouldn't be even 15th, they would be, I won't say that they would be fighting for a European spot, as we say, but they could definitely be fighting at least for a spot over the mid table, over the 10th position in the table. Because really, when you only lose to Lyon by 1 goal, and that you can still score 2 goals on them, and probably would have been able to score a 3rd goal, I mean, there's a fair chance that you could have done much better during the rest of the season. Like, I think that's this team with that system, they could have beaten Marseille easily, because they are pretty solid, actually. And the other match I watched, which was to me still a bit of bullshit, was Paris versus Lille in the finals of the League Cup. The first goal to me is why the whole thing is bullshit, despite the fact that Paris ended with 1-0 one man down because of double yellow card, so red card. Find me a bit of justice, because I think there are three matches. There were three matches where Paris has been given some slight advantage by the referee because they are just dumb. Like against Lyon, there was this part where the ball was very, and I mean very much obviously outside the bounds, but the dude could still get it back in. So I don't remember exactly if that ended in a goal for Paris or if it could have done a corner kick. But still, those are two situations where you think, hey, have you been paid? And there's been another situation again. I don't remember, but it might be both situations where there's some controversy. Could be against Lyon because they played twice against Lyon in the cups. So there might be a risk that both unfair calls have been made against the same team. So now against Lille, the first goal was, and I mean, if Kurzawa wouldn't have been on the trajectory of the ball, it would have been okay to me because he was offside, and offside only you only call an offside if the player that's offside acts, touches the ball or something like that. And he touched the ball. Like, if he had been 2 meters or 3 meters on the right or on the left, it would have been a totally different story. I would have said, okay, that's a fair goal. And I mean, in all fairness, that's a pretty fair goal, because the defense of Lille was poorly positioned in that situation. But still, Paris won by 1 goal. I mean, it was 2-1 at the end, which means that they won by a difference of 1 goal, and one of those 2 goals should have never been called as such. And that's, I mean, I guess that's it. I mean, the whole thing makes you believe that we should have get rid of the president of the league way earlier, because this dude, he's just, I won't say something too disparaging, but he's sucking the dick of the president of Paris Saint-Germain, and that's pretty much it. But very important thing, Paris are, I don't know if that's just the aftershock of being eliminated from the Champions League, but they are a team that's pretty weak for them. Yeah. So next month, Marseille could very much be able to win, and I mean, I really want to go to Paris on the 21st of May, and I mean, I have the money to do so. But I don't want to go alone, and I don't know who I want to bring with me, because the only people I know who would want to go see that match are supporters of Paris, and I obviously cannot bring them with the guys I would be with, who are the supporters of Marseille, because I am a supporter of Marseille. So yeah, I mean, complicated. So yeah, one last thing I want to talk about is about anime, because I started watching Sansha Sanyo, which is an anime by Doga Kobo with, oh god, I mean, it's a slice of life where pretty much nothing happens, but there's this fucking crisp animation, and you're like, you get a huge budget to animate nothing. Obviously, there might be some money going into some very well executed cuts. But yeah, that's not what I want to talk about. So there are 2 slice of life anime series that are airing this season. I mean, they aren't two, obviously, but there are both series have this same point where there's not much happening actually. The other being Flying Witch. Now, this might be a hot, unpopular opinion, but I do feel that like Flying Witch is a series there where nothing really happens. Like the only thing interesting about the episode 2 was the fact that the little girl, I can't remember her name, was scared shitless by the guy who brought spring, the spring season. And yeah, there's a fine line in slice of life where nothing happens between being boring as shit and being what people call comfy in the West, and what the Japanese people call healing, EHK. Like such as, you know, non-beauty, for example. I don't know what else could fall under that umbrella. Top of my head, there's only non-beauty. But I'm fairly sure that there's a lot of other stuff that falls under that umbrella that I've watched, but I just cannot bring it back. Yeah. And I think that Sancha Sanyo could be, you know, those things where you're watching and it's dumb and you're like, ha ha ha, wow, I suddenly don't feel anything anymore. Oh, it's all numb. The pain of being a piece of shit in this crap sack world, basically. There's Gochusa, which is something that I really like, despite the fact that it makes me look like a weirdo if I watch it in public. Yeah. And Flying Witch, I mean, it. There are moments where it, you know, it's kind of comic and oh boy, ha ha ha, this is really cool. But most of it is just, oh wow, is it ending already? No? Welp. Okay. And yeah, that's kind of, I mean, that's sad. Because I like JC staff, I want them to be good studio and whatnot. But this point was just, there's also Kumamiko, but there it's more of a thing where it's absurd, and that's why you kind of feel like it's not boring, because it's absurd. There's a bear that talks, and the girl, she wants to go in high school in the town, and the bear is like, no. And there's this story about a sacrificial girl who got fucked by a bear. But this one, he's castrated, so yeah, there's no problem. That turned very weird very quickly, and I was like, wait, what? So yeah. Also, apparently they milked the backstory of the hero of My Hero Academia to the point that he's gonna have to be way more confident. Like, he's gonna have to turn into a madman very quickly, because I can understand where he comes from, but he just seems like a little bitch, you know? Yeah, so, apparently it's just like 1 or 2 chapters in the manga, but in the anime that's 3 episodes where he's like, I'm like, stop crying for Christ's sake. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, see you tomorrow, bye bye. Or there will be stuff about why I can't stand this Paris Saint-Germain right now in the description. So make sure to read it.